The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Come on, you can pop on. There you go. Hello, my name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this second half of the season starting doubleheader. We did the All-Star Game, a certifiable classic with the American League beating the National League in one of the craziest games ever. And so we start at Wrigley Field with a doubleheader between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are 40 and 45. They, of course, will win the East in 89, so they shouldn't be a bad team in 88, but they're kind of mid-level with St. Louis and Pittsburgh. They're not catching the Mets. But you get Rick Sutcliffe today, and Mark Grace and Ryan Sandberg. And so again, and the good news is on this 80-degree day in Chicago is that you're not going to see Harry Carey with his shirt off, chugging a bud, calling a ball game. Dodgers and Reds, right in the thick of it, I believe they're a half game apart. They will go with Tim Leary today. Tim is 10-5 and actually got to pitch in the All-Star Game a couple days ago, although it won't matter for this. He gets to go his full distance. So the Dodgers and Reds right in the thick of it. The Chicago Cubs, well, it's just a beautiful day in Chicago, and so as Ernie Banks would say, let's play two, and that's exactly what we're about to do. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Replay 1988, a doubleheader today from Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. It is the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And today's doubleheader is brought to you by DigitalTheDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And I'm not sure how much of a break the Dodgers are going to need today. Tim Leary has pitched really well so far against the Cubs, 1-0 with an 0.53 ERA. And the Dodgers have gotten to their former teammate Rick Sutcliffe, 1-1 with an 8.44 ERA. Doubleheader, good morning, and it really is morning for you. 8:32 in San Diego. Hopefully the weather is kind where you are, and so it'll be the Dodgers and the Cubs. As we said, here's how the Dodgers start the second half of the year. Steve Sachs will lead off at second. Danny Heap is at first base. Good luck with that. Kirk Gibson is at left. He'll go third. Mike Marshall cleans up in right. John Shelby, a fine-tuned machine running in center field, will bat fifth. Mike Scioscia behind the plate will go sixth. Jeff Hamilton is at third as Forrest drinks his coffee and watches the stream. Jeff Hamilton at third will bat seventh. Dave Anderson at short will go eighth. And Leary on the mound will bat ninth. Sutcliffe can go the distance. Again, he's a 500 pitcher this year and was 500 in real life, too. Sutcliffe, 32 years old. You're not late. You haven't missed a pitch yet, John. 32 years old, fastball at 87, and a fly ball pitcher. Is 7-7, or he had a 7-7, and his ERA can't be found because it's 4.04. He pitched 5 days ago against San Diego, so he pitched on Sunday in a 9-4 loss, which makes Forrest happy. 5 1/3, 123 pitches, 11 hits, 8 runs, all earned. That's a Christmas tree. In fact, it brought up his ERA half a run. He didn't allow a home run and all that, walked 2 and struck out 4. He does have 2 shutouts on the year, and back-to-back as a matter of fact. He shut out the Expos on April 20th, and then the 3 hit the Pirates on the 24th of April. Overall, 111 1/3 innings for Rick, 118 hits. Good morning, Big Dave. 50 of those 58 runs are earned, 10 homers. He walked 37 and struck out 71. So a fantastic start to the year. The Reds got to him, and his last two, the Dodgers got to him on July 3rd, as a matter of fact, in L.A. So his last 2 starts, he's given up 15 earned runs in 9 1/3 innings. There are light bulb companies that aren't that successful. Defensively for the Cubs, Rafael Palmeiro is in left. He's a 5 and a 3. Carmelo Martinez is a 5 and a 3 in center, or Martinez. Might be Dave. We'll find out in a second. Andre Dawson, a 10 and a 6 in right. He's the best outfielder. Law is a 5 at third. Dunston, a 7 at short. Sandberg, a 10 at second. Mark Grace, a 7 at first. Jody Davis, a 7 and a 5 behind the plate. Rick Sutcliffe, that's not how I read that, John. Rick Sutcliffe is a 7 on the mound with a .951 fielding percentage. He looks like all or nothing guy, gets hammered or pitches a gem. Yep. And that's what Sutcliffe would probably talk about for hours on end when he called games on ESPN. Sack starts the second half, inning 273. 2 homers and 20 RBI. Ground ball to Dunston. Great play by Sean. Over to Grace, and there's 1 out. So it's a straight doubleheader. We're not going to 2 different cities. For Dunston, his 18th great play. And that'll bring up Danny Heap. Heap at 328, no homers and 7 RBI. Sutcliffe lines and fires, struck him out. And 0-2 fastball got him to chase, and there's 2 out for Gibson. Kirk, who did play Tuesday in Cincinnati, hitting .315, 18 homers and 58 RBI. We'll have a stream for you of some sort Wednesday, and then Thursday's doubleheader. It's not Milwaukee, Ron. It's Kansas City at Boston. Will be the YouTube games of the week. Pitch to Gibby. There's a fly ball, shallow right. Dawson will come in and make the catch, and that'll do it. So the Dodgers go in order, and after half an inning, there's no score. So here is the Cub lineup. We haven't had the Cubs on this year. Sean Dunston is at short. He'll lead off. Rafael Palmeiro, a baby at 24. Won't be needed taking any of those funny pills yet. He's in left, he'll bat second. The Hawk, Andre Dawson in right, will go third. Ryan Sandberg cleans up at second. Mark Grace at first will bat fifth. Vance Law at third goes sixth. Jody Davis behind the plate will bat seventh. Davis, just one of those guys that was, glue. He really was glue. It is Davey Martinez in center field batting eighth. Rick Sutcliffe on the mound will go ninth, and Larry can go. He might be able to give you the distance. He's done it 7 times in his first 17 starts. Tim earned that All-Star appearance. He went 10-5 the first half with a 2.09 ERA. He's 30 years old, fastball at 89, and a ground ball pitcher. And his last appearance that counts was July 8th. So he pitched Saturday against the Pirates and lost 7-6. 7 innings, 121 pitches, 10 hits, 5 runs all earned. 2 homers, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. He has fanned 10. He did that against the Braves in a 5-hit shutout. In fact, Leary has 4 shutouts on the season. The Braves, the Reds, these Cubs on April 26th, and San Diego, Forest. Leary has thrown 129 in a third innings, allowed 100 hits, 34 runs, 30 earned. He has given up 4 home runs, walked 29, and struck out 90. Good for 9th. Defensively for the Dodgers, Kirk Gibson a 5 and a 3 in left. John Shelby a 5 and a 5 in center. Mike Marshall a 2 and a 6 in right. Jeff Hamilton's a 4 at third. Dave Anderson is an 8 at short. Steve Sachs a 4 at second. And Heap, not a first baseman, God bless him. He's a 6 there with a .969 fielding percentage. And for a first baseman, that's my level. Sosha a 9 and a 6 behind the plate. And Leary is a 7 with a .983 fielding percentage. Dunston at 223, 5 homers, and 24 RBI. And he laces this one to right center. Shelby is there, however, 1 out. Brings up Palmeiro. Rafi at 305, 4 homers, and 37 RBI. It's amazing he became a power hitter. In 88 and 580 at-bats, he only hit 8. Wonder how that happened. Laces this one into right all the way past Marshall in the corner by where they keep the batting cage and stuff. Palmeiro has two with ease. He's going to go for third. Sachs relays throw to Hamilton is going to be close, but Palmeiro has his fourth triple, but he's hurt, I think. Who's hurt? He slides into third, and you know what? He sprained his ankle on the slide. But they've kept him in the game. I guess I got a pinch run for him. He is the left fielder. And so it'll be Gary Varsho. They didn't want to remove him. I guess they figured he was okay to run. But Palmeiro, when he slid into the bag at third, jammed his ankle against it, and they'll have to take care of that between games. Andre Dawson hitting .289, 12 homers, and 49 RBI. Pitch to Dawson. Fly ball left field. Back goes Gibson way back there. Holy cow, that's his 13th. That ball is out of Wrigley Field. That's not in the Dave Kingman put it on Waveland Avenue thing, but it did clear the back wall going 373 feet. And for Dawson, that's his 13th of the year. All Gibson could do was turn and watch it go. So Varsho with an easy stroll home, and Dawson with a home run. So here's Sandberg, Rhino at .261, 11 homers, and 42 RBI. Took 10 pitches, but the Cubs are up 2-0. And that is a little looper into left center. It's going to drop in front of Shelby. So Rhino has a single. And the Cubs fans who are crawled into Wrigley on this beautiful summer day are getting a good show so far. Mark Grace hitting .295, 4 triples and 24 RBI. Leary throws the heap and Sandberg is back. Grace hits a ground ball to Hamilton. Sacks for 1, and Grace is going to reach as there's no throw. So 2 out. And Grace on first for Vance Law, hitting .267, 5 homers and 35 RBI. We've had a whole bunch of building construction, which is why we didn't do the third stream this week. But if you're interested, I did post a game of basketball using Above the Rim. It's not the most exciting game in the world. The game itself is good, but you know what I mean. The first part I put up Saturday, and the second part I put up yesterday. So this year's Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Boston Celtics. Pitch to Law. Vance into shallow right center. Shelby runs in, rides the Schwinn, makes the catch, and that'll do it. However, Andre Dawson hits a 2-run mammoth shot to left, and after 1, 2-0 Chicago. Varsho, maybe not the best of fielders out there, has good range with his speed. He's a 6, but he's got a ramen noodle arm and a fielding percentage of .889. So, but he is fast, and he's already scored. So Marshall, Shelby, and Socha to face Sutcliffe here in the second. Mike at .266, 9 homers, and 54 RBI. Slow ground ball to Sandberg, over to Grace. Marshall's huffing and puffing, but is retired, 1 away. John Shelby hitting .296, 4 homers and 29 RBI. Mr. Gardner picked up Action PC Baseball 24, and I see he is doing stuff in this ballpark, as a matter of fact. The Chicago Whales of the 1915 Federal League. Pitch to Shelby, draws the walk. So 1 out, 4-pitch walk brings up Scioscia. Mike at 229, 3 homers, and 31 RBI. Sutcliffe deals. There goes Shelby. The throw down to Dunston, and John has his 10th steal of the year. Brushes off his backside. A 1-strike count to Scioscia and 1 out. Left field goes the opposite way. Varsho makes the catch. Shelby goes back and will tag. And as we said, Varsho has almost no arm. And Shelby goes to third, 2 out. Jeff Hamilton hitting 203. 5 homers and 23 RBI. You really did like the bridge, huh? I should put some up. I've been trying to play the weekly tournament at Bridge Base online, and I am just horrible. But yeah, I could be talking to put some more bridge up. Pitch from Sutcliffe. Hamilton drops one. Here comes Dunston over to Grace, and Hamilton's running, and he is safe. Did he beat out the bang banger? He did, and the run scores. So Shelby will score, and it's a 2-1 ball game for Dave Anderson at 260, a homer, and 13 RBI. I do practice bridge daily. Problem is, I'm kind of an introvert when it comes to that thing, so I haven't played with another person yet. I enjoy it. I'm trying to learn the standard American yellow card convention. And for those of you going, what the heck is that? That is a basic entry. You and your partner learn it and figure out how to bid and how to, what you have in your hand. Pitch to Anderson. And Sutcliffe walked him. So Sutcliffe has walked 2 in the inning. Full count, fastball missed low and away. First and second, 2 out for Leary. Tim's not a bad hitter. He's hitting 289 with 3 RBI. 2 out here in the second, 2-1 Cubs. Gets away from Davis, and everybody moves up 90. That was a pass ball. So that's what I get for saying nice things about Jody Davis. The fastball just kind of got away from him a bit, and he couldn't hold on. So 3-2 the count to Leary. Sutcliffe deep breath. And there's a ground ball right side, base hit. Hamilton will tie the ball game. Anderson, is he going to round third? Dawson has a decent arm. The throw to the plate is going to be close, but he's in there. And so the Dodgers go ahead 3-2. So that pass ball is large. Leary has a single. Opening 9 for Sutcliffe, 36 pitches, an inning and 2/3. 2 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Sachs is 0 for 1. I'm getting good against the computer bots that I paid for in Bridge. As in, it doesn't whip my butt all the time. Pitch to Sachs. There's a ground ball to Grace. Mark to the bag himself, and that'll do it. But the Dodgers played 3, 2 on the single by Leary, and after an inning and a half, it's the Dodgers 3, the Cubs 2. So Jody Davis has some making up to do. Davey Martinez and Rick Sutcliffe also here in the second. Jody at 240, a home run and 15 RBI. Dave, do you belong to a club or just play social? Pitch to Davis. There's a fly ball, left field. Gibson waits with the wind, makes the catch for the out. The wind is blowing in toward the lake from left to right, or left field, at 12. The predominant wind, as you can see from the picture, coming off the lake, would blow from right to left and hard off of Lake Michigan. There's Davey Martinez. He's hitting .299, 6 homers and 32 RBI. Fly ball to right, Marshall coming in, And there's 2 out. For Sutcliffe, who's not that good of a hitter, for a pitcher, he's fine. 189, a home run, and 2 RBI. 2 out. Struck him out. First for Leary and Aldo. Cubs go in order after 2. Dodgers 3, Chicago 2. So Heap, Gibson, and Marshall to face Sutcliffe here in the 3rd. Danny struck out his first time up. The lone K from Sutcliffe. Never played bridge in your life? Oh, interesting. Only watched me play and found it interesting. Euchre, I've never played. My mom played a lot of pinochle when she was married to my father. You need 4 for bridge. And it's a lot like spades in the sense that there's a trump suit and all that. The bidding is the hardest part because you've got to figure out what is in your partner's hand without your partner being able to directly tell you. Pitch to Heap. Danny hits a ground ball to Sandberg by the back at second, over to Grace, 1 out. Judging by the amount of people who watch, I don't think you're in the minority there. It is a fun game. It is a very complex game. Kind of like chess in that regard. It's going to make you pull your hair out. Kirk Gibson's 0 for 1. Fly ball to right. Dawson by the pens will make the catch, 2 out. Mike Marshall is 0 for 1. And of course, Euchre is big in Western New York, and Spades is big in Central New York. So, Mr. Rochester dude, what do you consider yourself, Western or Central? I would consider Syracuse Central. Marshall in the right center field. Dawson moving over. That was high, but got caught, and that'll do. No runs, no hits, no errors. And after 2.5 here at Wrigley, Dodgers 3, Cubs 2. So top of the lineup for Chicago here in the 3rd. Dunston Varsho, who will bat for the first time, and Dawson. Leary's opening 9, 37 pitches, 2 innings, 3 hits. Both the runs are earned, and with a home run from Dawson and a strikeout. Sean is 0 for 1. Sachs runs in on it, has to make a bang-banger because Dunston can run, and he is out. So 1 away for Varsho, who was 4 for 9. He does have 2 doubles and an RBI. He went 274 in the real year, 20 for 73. Dave says Syracuse is Central, even though I've spent more time now in Rochester. I will always consider myself a Buffalonian. I've never heard that word before. I think I told you my dad grew up in Fredonia. Pitch to Varsho. Gary slaps this one into right field for a base hit. So Varsho and his speed are on. 1 out for Dawson, who hit that big home run to left in the 1st. Varsho will go after Leary throws over. Varsho stays put, and now he'll go. Dawson now has 13 home runs and 51 RBI. There goes Gary, the throw down to Sachs, and Varsho has his first steal. If he could ever get on a regular basis, he'd have more than 5, but his defense wasn't all that great. So he's a tying run in scoring position, and a 1-ball count to Dawson. Pitch from Leary. Fly ball left field. Gibson, that'll stay in the yard, but that's well ahead. Gibby well in the corner there by the Cubs bullpen, and Varsho goes to 3rd. You have family all around Fredonia. Nice. I had family in Dunkirk and Silver Creek. Here's Sandberg, single. 1 for 1. Varsho on 3rd. 2 out. Leary on a beautiful day here in Chicago, 81 degrees. That wind is now blowing directly toward the lake, left to right at 12. That's a base hit, and this game is tied. Marshall will pick it up. Varsho scores with ease, and it's a 3-3 ball game. So here's Mark Grace. Mark is 0 for 1. Sandberg, always a threat to steal. And a balk because it's 1988 and Sandberg just walks to second. So Lasorda is not a happy camper. Lasorda trying to blame, as he talks to his coaches, Leary having to pitch in the All-Star game. It doesn't matter. And Grace at the plate. There was no pitches. And so Sandberg, the go-ahead run, is on second. Pitch to Grace. Ball 4. So Leary has kind of lost the script here in the third. A 3-1 fastball miss low in. For Vance Law, it was 0 for 1. First to 2 today, and unlike our holiday doubleheaders, this is a natural doubleheader. And what's more natural than natural light? Pitch to Law. Ground ball to Heap. Danny's got it, takes it to the bag himself. And that will retire the side. Cubs, however, tie the ball game. 2 hits. They leave on 2. No errors. We go to the 4th. Cubs 3, Dodgers 3. So Shelby, Scioscia, and Hamilton to face Sutcliffe here in the 4th. Shelby walked, stole a base, and scored. Popped up. Right side. Grace. 1 out. So here's Scioscia. Mike is 0 for 1. There's a ground ball to Dunston. Goes the opposite way. Scioscia's kind of half running. And there's 2 outs. So Sutcliffe needs an easy inning, and he might get one. Jeff Hamilton singled, drove home a run, and scored. Now you're getting in the weeds. Your family was in North Collins. Never heard of that. Gowanda. Is there a racetrack in Gowanda? Perrysburg, Jamestown, which is the home of one Lucille Ball, and South Dayton. And our Western New York geography lesson brought to you by Cook's Beer. Has nothing to do with Dave, but everything to do with getting drunk in Western New York. Pitch to Hamilton. There's a ground ball left side, base hit. So the Dodgers have timed Sutcliffe up well. That's the 3rd hit. Here's Anderson. Dave walked and scored in the 2nd on the Leary single. Sutcliffe deals. Slow chopper to Sandberg goes to first, and that will retire the side. Dodgers get a hit and leave the runner on, and after 3.5, 3-3. So as we start the second half of the season, here are the standings. Mets lead the Pirates by 7.5. St. Louis 12.5, Philly 13. The Cubs are in last place, but again, Pittsburgh is closer to last than they are to first. That's never good. In the West, wake up, Forrest. The Dodgers a half game up on Cincinnati. San Diego's only 6 back. And Houston 7.5 back. The only good news is, if you're a Braves fan, is who's leading the National League in hitting. It's Gerald Perry, hitting .315. And as I do a quick scan of my screen here, that is the only Atlanta Brave on any of the leaderboards that they're showing off. In the American League, the Red Sox probably would not have fired John McNamara with a 1.5 lead in first. Toronto, 1.5 back. Milwaukee, 3. New York, 4. And the Tigers, 5. Yes, that entire division, Forrest, except for Atlanta, finished above 500. In the American League West, the Twins have the best record in baseball. They lead the Royals by 6. Royals and Red Sox on Thursday for 2. Oakland, 8.5 back. They're going to need help. And everyone else, it's football season in Seattle, Dallas, the south side of Chicago. They're still not rooting for the Cardinals, are they? And the Rams. I mean, California. Jody Davis is 0 for 1. Struck him out. Leary got him on a 2-2 breaking ball. So we know Forrest is wearing his Cubs hat. Here's Dave Martinez. He's 0 for 1. Fly ball to right. Marshall. 2 out. For Sutcliffe was 0 for 1. Rick's going to stay in the game. And Sutcliffe laces this one to right. Right at Marshall. Foul. And somebody from Joliet made that play. Whether they realize they made the play or not, it's another story. Wind, by the way, has shifted, changed direction. Now out to left center. Coming from the lakeside from Gary at 12 miles an hour. Sut. Ground ball to Leary. First base side of the rubber over to Heap, and that will do. Cubs go in order in the fourth. No runs, no hits, no errors. And after 4, it's the Dodgers 3, the Cubs 3. One last piece of useless trivia. No, we've still got at least 14 innings to go. I'm sure there'll be more, Dave. On Mr. Selinsky's side of the family, his mom is related to Lucille Ball. You'll need to be 50 plus to even know who that is now. That's true. Forrest said he used to watch the Cubs on WGN all the time. Yep. Leary had that 2-run single in the second to make it 3-2 LA. Struck him out, so Sutcliffe has a second. A 1-2 fastball popped in the glove of Jody Davis. Yeah, they were on TV more than most places. A lot of teams for the longest time didn't put their games or a lot of games on TV. And San Diego was one of them. Here's Sachs. He's 0 for 2. Opening 18 for Sutcliffe. 76 pitches. 4 1/3. 3 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Fly ball, left field. Varsho reaches in the stands and out of play. Some kid with headphones by the name of Bartman was there, and the count is full. First time I saw WGN was in the spring of '79. Yeah, MLB TV is great. And it was so cool coming home from school, because remember, we were an hour behind Chicago, as you were 2 hours behind Chicago, and have most of a game to watch. That was great. The 3-2. Struck him out. That's 3 for Sutcliffe. He got Sachs to swing and miss on a fastball. 2 out for Heap, who's 0 for 2 with a K. Right back to Sutcliffe, over to Grace, and that will take care of business here. Halfway home on a warm day in Burlington. It's the Dodgers 3, the Cubs 3. Well, if you joined us late, first of 2 today as we cross the noon hour here on the East Coast. Dodgers and Cubs doubleheader, first day of the second half of the season. Teams knotted at 3. Rafael Palmeiro tweaked his ankle sliding into third base on a triple. Don't know if he's due to play the second game or not. Anyway, Andre Dawson hit a 2-run homer, his 13th, a mammoth shot that left the yard to make it 2-0. Dodgers got 3 in the second. Jeff Hamilton singled to score John Shelby. Then Tim Leary singled home 2 to make it 3-2. And then in the third, Ryan Sandberg scored Gary Varsho, who replaced Rafael Palmeiro to make it a 3-3 game. So Leary, a 5-hitter through 4. He's thrown 71 pitches. And Sutcliffe, a 3-hitter through 5. 2 of the 3 runs are earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 3. Back Leary on 71 pitches, 4 innings, 5 hits, the home run to Dawson. A walk and 2 strikeouts. As Dunston steps in, he's 0 for 2. Struck him out. That's 3 for Leary. Dunston chased a 1-2 fastball, strike 3. So here's Gary Varsho. He pinch ran for Palmero, and Raphael jammed his ankle in the bag at third. Singled and stole a base. Leary deals into left center. Shelby coming in, makes the catch. 2 out for Andre Dawson. You know, Forrest, of course, you have the advantage being out west that the East Coast games come to you at 4 in the afternoon. Here's Dawson. Andre homered to left in the first and drove in 2. I've not watched a game all year. Pitch to Andre. Into right center field. Back goes Shelby. Way back there and way up there. And for Dawson, it's his 14th of the year and his 2nd of the day. And so somebody spilled their old style to get that. So Forrest today is a Cub fan and a Bud man. And somewhere the Goats, are having a fit out in Washington. So Dawson makes it 4-3. Now, when I was a kid, Forrest, I began living out in New Mexico on Sundays because football season was school, and I was a 4th grader. It was great because the second game of the doubleheader ended at 5-ish. And so I didn't have to go to bed right away. So not only that, football started at 11 in the morning and ended at 5 in the afternoon. And I could even stay up late enough to watch Bork and Mindy. It was great. I highly recommend being 7, 8 years old again. Ryan Sandberg is 2 for 2. He has singled twice and driven in a run. Ground ball to third. Hamilton's got it. He's going to make a throw over to Heap, and Sandberg is safe on a bang-banger. That was a decent throw by Hamilton, and Sandberg was just that much faster. And it absolutely was perfect. Here's Mike Grace. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. 7th hit off of Leary with 2 out in the 5th. And that was a pitch out. Sandberg wasn't going. I'd think about it, but I want to see if Leary throws to first. He does. Heap is there. So is Sandberg. So now a 1-ball count, and we've worried about Ryan Sandberg enough. Going to hit and run with 2 out. Ground ball to Heap. Danny's got it. Takes it to the bag, and Grace is retired. However, the home run from Andre Dawson, his 2nd of the game, has given the Cubs a 4-3 lead heading to the 6th. So as Kirk Gibson steps in, he's 0 for 2. Cubs had a run on 2 hits. They've left on 4. So overall, 4 runs, 7 hits for Chicago in Game 1, no errors. And they have left on 4. The Dodgers, 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and they have left on 2. Whatever we're doing Wednesday will be here on Twitch, and our YouTube game of the week will be Thursday at 11:30, a doubleheader between the Royals and the Red Sox from Fenway Park. Pitch to Gibson, up the middle. Dunston's got it, over to Grace. And Gibby is out on a bang-banger. Gibson kind of slams a helmet down, but he was out. Here's Marshall. He's 0 for 2. Sutcliffe Right back to Rick. Throws to Grace. 2 out. For John Shelby, who's 0 for 1. A walk, a steal, and a run scored. Sandberg waits, throws to Grace, and that will retire the side. Clean 6 for Sutcliffe. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 5.5. Looks like I put most of you to sleep. It's 4-3 Cubs. So Law, Davis, and Martinez here in the 6th. Leary already on 90 pitches. Law is 0 for 2. This would be Chicago Law, not L.A. Law. No Susan Day. Base hit left field. Gibby will wait for it. And Law, not a fast runner, has the easy single. Tom Abbott Jr., by the way, our latest follower. Jody Davis is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? First to 2 today. Cubs up 4-3 here. And this is a natural doubleheader. The second game will be the Dodgers and the Cubs. This is game 85, by the way, for L.A. They are 48-36. This is game 86 for the Cubs. They are 40-45. Pitch to Davis. Might be 2. Anderson stabs it. Sacks for 1. Heap for 2. What a play for Dave Anderson. Reaching deep in the hole, he had to underhand it to Sachs, and Steve was right there for the good transfer and throw to first. For Dave Martinez, who is 0 for 2. So Leary gets a boost. He needs his offense to do something. Struck him out. That's 4 for Leary, and after 6, no runs, a hit, and the runner erased on the double play. It's the Cubs 4, the Dodgers 3. So it'll be Soche, Hamilton, and Anderson here. Sutcliffe due to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Socha 0 for 2. Base hit right field. Dawson will grab it. So the 4th hit. Socha not a threat to steal. Hamilton has an RBI and 2 singles. He is 2 for 2. Into right center. Martinez rides the Schwinn. That's a rainmaker. Davey makes the catch, and Socha was 3/4 of the way to second. 1 out for Anderson, who walked, scored, and is 0 for 1. Chopper to Dunston. Sean has it. Sandberg for 1. Grace for 2. Stretch time at Wrigley, 4-3 Cubs. So we'll let Sutcliffe bat here. He's 0 for 2 with a K. Don't think he'll go the distance, but he certainly earned the right to go to the 8th. Leary starts the frame. Fly ball the opposite way. Back goes Gibson way back there and off the wall. That's off the ivy. Sutcliffe didn't think he'd have to run today. He's huffing and puffing with his second double of the year. And so Leary waits on this 83-degree afternoon as somebody, imagine that, brings out a jacket for Rick Sutcliffe to put on. You would think, as Son Dunston steps in 0 for 3 with the K, that on a summer day like this, that your arm would stay warm between innings. But no. I mean, we'd sit there as a kid and watch these games from Atlanta or whatever when it was 9,000 degrees. And when Pascual Perez or Phil Niekro, he has to be special, Tribe Fan says, and you're right, that after a while, you'd sit there with a jacket on, with the sun beating on you, on a warm day in Chicago. Meanwhile, Harry Carey in the booth next to me has taken off his shirt so he could sing Take Me Out of the Ballgame because, he's too sexy for his shirt. Leary, opening 27 batters, 105 pitches, 6 innings, 9 hits, 2 home runs, both to Andre Dawson. A walk and 4 strikeouts. No, it's true that to keep pitchers' shoulders warm between innings, regardless of the weather, they'd run the jackets out if they reach base. I mean, you'd see the shots in the dugout. If they weren't on base, they would just have it over their pitching arm. But, I mean, it's great. I can certainly understand it in April and May and September and in the playoffs. But yet, even in the middle of summer, and July 14th, it's Bastille Day, by the way, in our replay, is not April weather. Dunston is 0 for 3, and he gets hit. So Forrest opens up another bud. Nobody out, bottom of the 7th, and a 4-3. How you doing, Andrew? First of 2 today. Both Cubs and the Dodgers. Gary Varsho is 1 for 2. He is in for Rafael Palmeiro. He has singled, stolen the base, and scored twice. 4-3 Cubs in the 7th. And Socha says, we're supposed to be in a pennant race, dude. Throw strikes. And they're going to get 2 here. Sacks to Anderson for 1. And nope, Varsho's too fast. And that'll do it for Leary. Oh, right off the lake? Yeah. That'll do it for Timmy Leary. Tim Cruz coming in, a pitching change from Wrigley Field in Chicago. So Cruz, 27th appearance, 27 years old, fastball at 87, 1-0, and his earned run average is just above pi. And on a warm day like this, doesn't key lime pie sound delicious? Cruz last pitched on the 8th, so he's had 6 days off. He went 1/3 of an inning in a 7-6 loss and gave up a run, but it wasn't the deciding run. Overall for Tim, 34 1/3, 33 hits, 12 runs, all earned. Very good control. He's walked 3 and struck out 24. Andre Dawson has had himself a day. He homered on the out of the ballpark and left his first time up, and then hit one into the deck in right center past the batter's eye in the 5th. Runners on the corners. Dawson hits a ground ball to Heap. Sutcliffe's going to try and score. They're going to try for 2. Anderson for 1. And Dawson is in Varsho, and they throw him out. So it's a 3-6-3 double play, and we have played 7 full. And after 7, it's the Cubs 4, the Dodgers 3. We apparently had a double switch. Cruz goes in the 7 hole, and Tracy Woodson will be hitting. He's 0 for 3 on the replay, a 249 hitter, 3 homers and 15 RBI. Remember, they're going to lose Pedro Guerrero. They trade him to St. Louis for John Tudor. Forrest is having a good time rooting for the Cubbies. Sutcliffe starts the 8th. Fly ball left center. Martinez, 1 out. Steve Sachs is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Sutcliffe, 27 batters, 119 pitches, 7 1/3, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Fly ball left field. That's well hit. Varsho turns and watches it go. And if that stayed in the yard, that's getting flung back out there in the left field. Sachs, so no doubter. Now that wind is blowing out there to left at 12. And Sachs caught the jet stream and ties the ball game at 4. Kaboom! Sachs rode that one. That's what you get for leaving your jacket on when it's 85 degrees when you're running the bases. Here's Danny Heap. He's 0 for 3 with a K. And Heap walks. And that'll do it for Heap. Franklin Stubbs is going to pinch run at first. Sutcliffe said, I'm not tired. And they go, yeah, you are. So, we're going to go with, wow, I got a doubleheader coming up. Les Lancaster. Calvin Schiraldi was a starter? Really? He starts the second game of the doubleheader. That's not going to cause any twitching or nightmares as a Red Sox fan, eh? Les Lancaster is 26 years old. Fastball 87 and a fly ball pitcher, 4-4. He's made his 3 starts. It's his 31st appearance of the year. He pitched 3 days in a row against the Padres. But Forrest, they beat you twice. In fact, he picked up the win on the 10th just before the break. He went 1 inning through 9 pitches and struck a man out. Overall for Les, 57 in the third, 68 hits, 35 runs, 30 of those earned, a home run. He's walked 23 and struck out 25. And Lancaster is 4-4 with 3 saves and an earned run average of 471. Shelby Gibson, Marshall, and Shelby. Stubbs on first. And the first thing Lancaster will do is throw over to Grace. And Stubbs is back. Gibby 0 for 3. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. They have left on 2. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Cubs, and they've left on 5. Pitch to Gibson. Base hit, right center. Martinez, Gibby's digging for 2, and he's got his 17th double. So here's Mike Marshall. Mike is 0 for 3. You got to be a huge Cub fan to know that one of the closers for the Cubs in '88 was Goose Gossage. Pitch to Marshall. That is long gone. That is into right center field, and that ball was chucked back out of there as fast as it went in. It won't matter. It's a 3-run shot, and it's 7-4 L.A. And Forrest is waiting for this to get uploaded onto YouTube so he can crap all over it. Goodness, Lancaster just grooved one. So the Dodgers take a 7-4 lead. Home runs at Wrigley Field? Say it isn't so. For Marshall, that was his 10th. And here's Shelby. He's 0 for 2. Stadium and Harry Carey barf. Shelby 0 for 2, a walk. Stolen base and a run scored. Base hit right center field. That will go all the way to the Ivy, and Shelby's into second with a 13th double of the year. Yeah, I was never a huge Harry Carey fan. I know, blasphemy. Here's Socha 1 for 3 with a single. Only the 8th hit for the Dodgers. Into right center, Martinez will track this one down. Had to come way in for it. Shelby goes back to second, goes to third, and the throw is cut off by Dunston. So 2 out. Let's see what they do with Cruz, who's 0 for 1 with a K. Yep, wrong feed. Let's go Wales. I think he's going to have a lot of fun with that. I really do. I think that's an excellent choice for Dave. And Mike Sharperson will pinch hit. Mike, as a pinch hitter, 333. Overall, 351 with 3 RBI. Shelby on third, 7-4 Dodgers, 2 out in the 8th. Right back to Lancaster, too much, too little, too late, and that'll do it. However, the Dodgers get 4 on 4 hits, including the 3-run blast by Mike Marshall. And Jesse Orozco coming in after 7.5, 7-4 LA. Game froze on him a couple times? That's interesting. Speaking of childhood nightmares, here's Jesse Orozco. He's only 31. He's 0-3, a 3.25 ERA, 26 games so far. He's a slider pitcher, and that fastball tops at 91. Ground ball pitcher. He hasn't pitched since the 9th in a 4-3 win over the Pirates. Inning and 2/3, 37 pitches, a hit, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Orozco, 27 2/3, 23 hits, 11 runs, 10 earned, a homer. He walked 17 and struck out 20. Don't know if he'll get 6 outs. Remember, they double switched. Oh, hovering with the mouse over players, sometimes with the cards. Yep, okay. Sandberg 3 for 3. Rhino has singled thrice and driven in a run. Slow chopper over the mound. Anderson barehands it, throws to Stubbs, and Sandberg is out on a bang-banger. So 1 out for Grace. Mark is 0 for 2 with a walk. Ground ball to Sachs, a fantastic play over to Stubbs, 2 out. Easy to get 6 outs with good defense behind you, huh? 2 outs for Vance Law, who is 1 for 3. He has singled. Orozco deals. That's in the left. Gibson makes the catch. Another fantastic play. Slides on the grass to retire the side. After 8. No runs, no hits, no errors. It is the Dodgers 7, the Cubs 4. So Anderson, Woodson, and Sachs to face Lancaster. Say that one right, Ron. It's Lancaster. Dave is 0 for 2. He is grounded into a double play, walked, and scored. Lancaster starts the 9th, ball 4. I didn't see who was pitching for the Dodgers. It's Schiraldi to start game 2 for the Cubs. Tracy Woodson is 0 for 1. To Dunston, this might be 2. Sandberg for 1. He turns, and Woodson's going to reach because the throw is late. So they get the 4s, 6-4. 1 out for Sachs, who homered in the 8th to make it a lot. And for Steve, that was his 3rd of the year. He's now driven in 21. Slow chopper over the mound. Dunston goes to Sandberg for 1. Sachs will reach, and there's 2 out. So they get the lead runner on the fielder's choice, and here's Franklin Stubbs. Franklin pinch ran for Danny Heap. Franklin hitting 270, 5 homers, and 17 RBI. Sachs does not go because he didn't get a good jump. Strike 1. Lancaster throws to first. Sachs is back. There he goes. Davis throws down to Dunston, and Sachs has his 26th steal of the year. Saw that one coming. So 1-1 count to Franklin Stubbs. Ball 4. So 2 on, 2 out for Kirk Gibson, who has doubled and scored. He's 1 for 4 today. 84 degrees, out wind blowing out to left now at 9. Apparently you are not required to, you are required not to wear a shirt if you're a dude out in the bleachers. I haven't seen that much blubber since we went whale watching. Pitch to Gibson, and he draws the walk. So Sachs on third, Stubbs on second, Gibson on first. 2 out for Mike Marshall, who homered in his last at-bat. He has now hit 10 on the replay, and he's driven in 57. And they're going to go with Al Nipper. You're going to pinch hit for the pitcher anyway. Nipper came over, I believe, in the... Was that the Buckner deal? He's 29 years old, fastball at 85, and a standard pitcher. 4 and 4. Kind of a Swiss Army pitcher at this point in his career. He's saved 2 out of 3 and had 3 out of 7 quality starts. He'll start on the 17th, so he can go a couple batters here. Last pitched on the 8th, so 6 days ago against San Diego, where he picked up the save. Put away your voodoo doll, Forrest. In a 5-4 win, 1 inning, 24 pitches, a walk, and a strikeout. So Nipper, 44 and a third, 40 hits, 17 runs, 16 earned. He's given up 5 home runs, walking 17, striking out 14, and the Cubs will lose him August 11th. So Sachs on third, Stubbs on second, Gibson on first, and a single might even clear the bases depending on where it's put. Mike Brumley and Dennis Eckersley. In the Buckner deal. So no Nipper. That was one of those rare deals that everyone got what they wanted. Buckner was fantastic in Boston, and Eckersley got clean and sober in Chicago. Pitch to Marshall. Ball 4. So Sachs will score. Marshall reaches, and it's 8-4. So here's John Shelby. He has a grand slam on the year. Today he's 1 for 3 with a double, a run scored, a stolen base, and a walk. Nipper's pitch popped up. Popped him up! There's your Harry Carey impression. Sandberg waits, and Grace waits, and that's pretty amazing because that will be a cut to end the inning. Dodgers get a run, no hits, no errors, and to the bottom of the 9th we go in Game 1. It's the Dodgers 8, the Cubs 4. The hell was I thinking 5-4? So Orozco out there to start the inning. Jody Davis 0 for 3, has run it into a double play and struck out, and had a pass ball. Cubs 4 to tie, 5 to win. And Davis draws the walk for Davey Martinez, who we will pinch hit for. Everyone's a righty. Who can hit a lefty? Angel Salazar. As a pinch hitter, 190 with an RBI. Overall, 242 with 2 RBI. There's a ground ball to Anderson, should be 2. Sachs for 1, and Stubbs, who's a 5 at first, for 2. So 6-4-3, the Dodgers using their 3rd first baseman. Al Nipper isn't going to hit. Last chance saloon in Game 1. Oh! I'd say that the Red Sox did pretty well in that one, too. Al Nipper and Calvin Schiraldi for Lee Smith. Yep. That's interesting. You know, usually trades are favored for one way or another. I'd say both teams did all right with that. Jim Sundberg, Jody Davis's backup, 37 years old, has 2 RBI, hitting 182 as a pinch hitter. And 205 overall. 2 out. This will be a save for Orozco if he can get the out. He does. He strikes him out, and the Dodgers win game 1, 8-4. So 3 hours and 27 minutes. Remember, no lights yet at Wrigley. They're working on them, and they'll be on in a couple weeks. So if this game started at, well, let's say 12:20 Central, it's now 20 minutes of 4. You got one more, Forrest. Dodgers go to 49 and 36. 8 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 6. The Cubs fall to 40 and 46. 4 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. They left on 5. Mike Marshall and his 4 RBI, your digital dice MVP. Cruz gets the win. He goes to 2-0. Tim Leary, 6 1/3, 9 hits, 4 runs, all earned. The 2 homers, a walk and 4 strikeouts. Sutcliffe, 7 1/3, goes to 7 8. 5 runs, 4 earned, 5 hits. The homer, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. You're sitting in a drawbridge opening. You get one more game. How about that? Les Lancaster, he won't be getting the Budweiser in the locker room between games, and Al Nipper an out and a walk. All right, let's get set up for game 2, shall we? So the Dodger lead is 1. Sean Hilligus and Calvin Giraldi. So Giraldi 1-9. Ouch. The 3.93. And Sean Hilligus, I remember pitching for the Rangers. So 80 degrees. We start this one about 4 o'clock Central Time. Here's the Dodger. Why are they... Danny Heaps again at first. This looks an awful lot like Game 1's lineup. Steve Sachs will lead off at second for the Dodgers. Danny Heap at first will bat second. Kurt Gibson in left will go third. Mike Marshall in right cleans up. John Shelby in center will bat fifth. Tracy Woodson makes his debut at third, will bat sixth. Rick Dempsey gets the call behind the plate in game 2, will bat seventh. Dave Anderson at short, batting eighth. Sean Hilligus will bat ninth. And Calvin Giraldi should throw about 115 pitches. And if it works, that'll get him between 7 and 8. Giraldi is 26. And I just think that there was so much pressure put on him. He's lost his last 5 decisions. Fastball at 93 and a standard pitcher. 1-9 with a 3.93 ERA. There was such pressure after he went to the Red Sox. Giraldi was a spot starter his whole career, John says, even with the Sox, but in '88 was his only year. We got a substantial number of starts. We don't have Chick-fil-A in Vermont. But we're a heathen state. How you doing, Mr. Gardner? Giraldi's last start came on the 5th. Hi, and Mike in the truck, too, just in time for game 2. He took the loss in an 8-1 pounding by the Giants. 5 innings, 101 pitches, 9 hits, 7 runs, all earned. Walking 3 and striking out 5. Overall for Calvin, 87 innings, 89 hits, 46 runs, 38 earned, 10 homers. He walked 32 and struck out 88. See what the Cubs have changed for game 2. Rafael Palmeiro had his ankle taped. He's in left. He's a 5 and a 3. Martinez in center, a 5 and a 3. No Andre Dawson in game 2. Gary Varsho, who probably didn't figure they would play in game 1, is in right, and he's not good there either. He's a 5 and a 1. The Manny Trio is at third. He's a 6. Dunston at short is a 7. Sandberg at 10 at second. Grace a 7 at first. Jim Sundberg gets the call behind the plate in game 2. He's a 7 and a 4. And Schiraldi is a 7 on the mound, but not a good fielder. Sachs at 272, 3 homers and 21 RBI. Schiraldi's an 8.62 fielder. That's a phone number here in Burlington. That's right. Schiraldi came out of Texas as high, if not more highly touted as Clemens. They won the College World Series. The first weekend I had ESPN. True story. And Schiraldi started the championship game, which I think was a pure double elimination. They didn't do the best of 3 final then. And Roger Clemens closed it. Pitch to Sachs. Ground ball to Sandberg. Over to Grace, 1 out. Yep, Schiraldi won the most outstanding player for that series. Wasn't Craig Swindell on that team as well? Danny Heap is hitting .314. He got a couple innings in a shower between games. No homers and 7 RBI. Schiraldi deals, and that's a base hit into right. Varsho, this should be an adventure every time he's out there, throws it back in. It's a better right fielder than a left fielder, but that's not saying much. Here's Gibby. Kirk at .314, 18 homers and 58 RBI. Manny Trio is part of the trio that was on base when Fred Lynn hit the grand slam in the '83 All-Star Game a few miles south of where we are now. I don't remember Trio playing in the American League. Who was he with? Throw to first. And Heap is back. Pitch to Gibson. Fly ball, right center field. Back goes Varsho. And Gibson has hit his second one of the day. So Gibby is homered. It's amazing. The Indian fans reminded me of where he played for in a moment. It's his 19th of the year and his second of the doubleheader. Oh, the 5-for-1 Von Hayes trade. And Gibby is en fuego. Dawson hit 2 in game 1. And Gibby has hit 2 on the day. And the Dodgers out to a 2-0 lead here in game 2. Trio was then traded to the Expos. So he and Rose were teammates for that week in '84, right? So here's Marshall, 266. He homered in the first game. 10 home runs overall and 58 RBI. Into left center, back goes Martinez. That's well struck and gone. That hit the camera well out there in left center field. And unlike the fans in the stands, the cameraman from WGN will keep that ball. It's 3-0 Dodgers before everyone can sit down with their Budweisers. Back-to-back Jacks indeed. Here's Shelby, 295, 4 homers, and 29 RBI. Schiraldi in real life, in 166 and a third, allowed 13 homers. On the replay, now with 87 and a third innings, has allowed 12. And Shelby draws the walk. And Schiraldi has retired 1 man on 17 pitches and allowed 3 runs. Here's Tracy Woodson. Not any relation to Tracy Wolfson. Woodson is 0 for 5. Wolfson, a fine sideline reporter for CBS. Pitch to Woodson. There goes Shelby to throw down to Sandberg. And John has his 11th steal of the year. Trio, Julio Franco, George Vukovic, Jay Baller, great name, huh? And Jerry Willard. Yeah, I think Cleveland got the better end of that. If they just could have hung on to Franco. And Von Hayes was a big part of that deal that got the Phillies to the World Series. Franco, I think, was 9,000 years old then. 1 strike count to Woodson. Ground ball to first. Grace waits, underhands it to Schiraldi. Shelby to third, and Woodson is retired, 2 out. For Rick Dempsey, hitting .231, no homers and 4 RBI. The other Cleveland Indians great names, Charlie Spikes, pretty good player in the late 70s for them, and Jack Brohammer, a Red Sox cast-off. Pitch to Dempsey. Dunston waits, throws it to first, but the damage is done. The Dodgers put 3 on the board and back-to-back homers by Kirk Gibson and Mike Marshall, and after half an inning, it's the Dodgers 3. Here come the Cubs. So Sean Hilligus making his 5th start. He's 24, fastball at 87, and a ground ball pitcher. He last pitched on the 9th against the Pirates in a 4-3 win. 6 1/3, 94 pitches, 5 hits, 3 runs all earned. He gave up a homer, he walked 1, and struck out 3. So Hilligus 23 1/3, 18 hits, 9 runs, 7 earned, 2 homers. He's walked 7 and struck out 10. He's only going to be with the Dodgers about 2 months. He's gone on the 15th. And again, I'm thinking White Sox or Rangers. Here's a lineup he'll face in Game 2 for the Cubbies. Sean Dunston leads off at short. Rafael Palmeiro and left will bat second. Gary Varsho will go third. Oy vey, he's in right. Ryan Sandberg cleans up at second. It's like Don Zimmer just, crossed out Dawson's name and put Varsho's in the same spot instead. Mark Grace is at first. He'll bat 5th. Davey Martinez in center goes 6th. The Manny Trio is at third. He'll bat 7th. Jim Sundberg behind the plate goes 8th. And Schiraldi, who got rocked in his half of the first, will bat 9th. He'll get 6 innings on a good day for the Dodgers. Kirk Gibson a 5 and a 3 in left. John Shelby a 5 and a 5 in center. Marshall a 2 and a 6 in right. Woodson is a 3 at third. Anderson an 8 at short. Sachs a 4 at second. And again, no one's confusing Danny Heap with Keith Hernandez. He's a 6 at first. Dempsey a 5 and a 5 behind the plate. Speaking of great players from 1983. And Hilligus is a 6 with a .900 fielding percentage. Dunston at .221, 5 homers and 24 RBI. And starts with a walk. Dodgers won the first game 8-4. So Rafael Palmeiro, they have bandaged his ankle. That was his 4th triple of the year. So in the first of Game 1, he's hitting .307, 4 homers, and 37 RBI. Hilligus throws to Heap, and Dunston is out. They got him. What'd you get at Chick-fil-A? Pitch to Palmeiro. Ground ball to Hilligus. Right side of the rubber over to Heap, 2 out. For Gary Varsho. Gary hitting .417, 5 for 12, 2 doubles and an RBI. Dodgers won the first 8-4, lead 3-0 in the second. First inning. And Varsho dribbles one right side for a base hit. So here's Sandberg. Rhino at .267, 11 homers and 43 RBI. Getting warm in here. Pitch to Sandberg. Left center. Shelby waits and makes the catch, and that'll do it. It's cooled off a bit between games, by the way. No runs a hit. The Cubs leave on a runner, and after 1, Dodgers 3, Cubs nothing. So we've cooled off a bit. It's 80 degrees, and that wind is still blowing out the left at 9. It was 12. So someone like Dave Anderson or Steve Sachs can kind of rip one out there again. Anderson at .257, a homer, and 13 RBI. And Schiraldi walked him. I should say, while people are tuning in, that 3-0 fastball was blown away, that in our great community that we have, Hilligus, by the way, 0 for 5. And a bunt here, I would think. So Grace and Trio come in. In the middle of our great community, we now have a Triple Crown horse owner. Did you know that? Hillegas squares, Trio fields it. He goes to first. Sandberg is there, and Sean is retired. 1 out. So Anderson moves up 91 out for Sachs, who's 0 for 1. Schiraldi, an opening 9 he'd like to forget. 28 pitches. Inning in a third, 3 hits. The home runs to Gibson and Marshall, and 2 walks. And Sachs draws the walk. I think with all the accomplishments that we have as a group, owning a Triple Crown horse has got to be the coolest thing ever, don't you think? Danny Heap singled and scored in the first. It'd be like, opening for a rock, good level rock band or whatever. And Heap draws the walk. Schiraldi has walked 4. 41 pitches with 1 out in the second. And here's Gibson, who homered his first time up. Forrest has got my voodoo doll out now. Anderson on third, Sachs on second, Heap on first. And Gibson, who has 2 homers on the day, at the plate. He's now driven in 60. Schiraldi deals. Slow ground ball to Grace. Mark, going to concede the run and try for 2. Dunston for 1. And Gibson will reach without a throw. Anderson scores. It's 4-0 Dodgers, and there's 2 out here in the second. For Mike Marshall, who had a solo homer in the first. So Sachs on third, Gibson on first. Schiraldi, fly ball, right field. Varsho makes the catch, and that'll do it. Dodgers get a run on no hits and no errors. That's never good. After an inning and a half, Dodgers 4, Cubs nothing. So Hillegas to face Grace, Martinez, and Trio here in the second. Mark hitting .290, 2 homers, and 24 RBI. To Sachs. 1 out. I think we're going to do hockey for you on Wednesday. Davey Martinez at .295, 6 homers, and 32 RBI. The YouTube baseball stream of the week will be doubleheader between Kansas City and Boston. I thought it was Milwaukee. It's Kansas City. It's still pretty important. From Friday the 15th, and that'll be at 11:30 on YouTube Thursday. Forrest, who has asked me to do stuff on YouTube, so it should be nice, is seriously considering that voodoo doll. Pitch to Davey. Ground ball to Heap. Danny picks it up to the bag, and Davey is retired. So 2 out for Manny Trio, hitting .141. No homers and 3 RBI. Manny is 38. Good utility player at this point in his career. 2 out, Hillegas deals. Hard ground ball to Heap, and Danny can't play it. So Trio's going to reach on the air from Heap. Off of Danny's chest. Obviously was not there when the LA Kings goalies were teaching that. And so Trio is on with 2 out. That's the first error of the doubleheader. Here's Jim Sundberg hitting .200 with 2 RBI. Yeah, Mark Wells passed away. Speaking of hockey, one of the members of the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team was only 66. That's not that old. I saw that Jim Otto passed away today, too, or passed away over the weekend. 00, one of the best linemen ever to play professional football, and I believe he played his entire career with the Oakland Raiders, right? Pitch to Sundberg, will throw to first, and Manny not going anywhere. I could, however. He's now a threat to steal, and that's exactly what we'll do. Dempsey, well, it won't matter because it was strike 3. So Hilligus got him to swing, and with 2 out, doesn't matter what you do. How about that? Nice job, Ron. After 2, it's the Dodgers 4, the Cubs nothing. So Shelby, Woodson, and Dempsey to face Giraldi here in the 3rd. Yeah, Otto full career with the Raiders. And I think kind of like Willie Brown, it stretched from Super Bowl, he played in Super Bowl II pre-merger and was on the, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, he was on the winning team that beat the Vikings 10 years later. Pitch to Shelby. Ground ball to Sandberg playing deep in the hole at second, over to Grace, 1 out. And the fan comes on because I'm hot. Tracy Woodson is not. He's 0 for 6 on the season, 0 for 1 today. He drops this one into right in front of our show for a hit. Gary should have made that play. 4th hit for the Dodgers. For Dempsey, who's 0 for 1. There goes Woodson. The throw down to Sandberg goes into center field. And Woodson goes to 3rd. So Tracy with the steal. And then 3rd on the bad throw from Sundberg. Oh, Otto was not on the winning Super Bowl team. He retired in '74. Thank you, Tribe fan. So Sundberg gets charged for the error. Somehow my back hurts from getting poked. I'm not sure why. The cat's not in here. And Woodson moves to 3rd. So both teams have committed an error. Wind now blowing out to left at 14, and it's 77 WABC degrees. Here's Rick Dempsey. He's 0 for 1 still. 1 strike count. Giraldi's pitch, and Dempsey draws the walk. Oh, my word. So 1 out here in the 3rd for Dave Anderson, who has walked and scored. So Otto was obviously the last lineman, although it was a 00, to technically wear a single-digit number. Sundberg tells Giraldi, get over yourself. Let's try to win this thing. Anderson, ground ball left side. That's a base hit. That'll score a run. Dempsey's going to go to 3rd, but Burrow wasn't a linebacker, or a lineman, right? Ken Burrow did wear 00. Dempsey on 3rd, Anderson on 1st. Giraldi has given up 5, and there's only 1 out here in the 3rd. Hilligus going to get the swing here. Burrow was a wide receiver, if I remember correctly. Yep. And now you can wear single digits and be wide receivers and all that. But believe John Hadel was the last quarterback. He was grandfathered in after the merger to wear a quarterback number over 19. I think he was 21, wasn't he? Struck him out. Giraldi got him on a full count breaking ball. 2 out for Sachs, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. Yeah, Hadel wore 21. I'd get yelled at if I was wrong. Giraldi, who's about to be done. 72 pitches, 2 2/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 walks, and a strikeout. Flutie wore 22 in college, or 2 for the Patriots. So Dempsey on 3rd, Anderson on 1st, 5-0 Dodgers. Here in the 3rd. Runners go, fly ball to right. Varsho reaches back to the wall and will make the catch, and that'll do it. So 1 run, 2 hits, and an error, and after 2.5 here in game 2, it's the Dodgers 5, the Cubs nothing. We've seen enough of Calvin Schiraldi, who can hit a righty. We'll go Angel Salazar again. He pinch hit in game 1, hitting 182 as a pinch hitter with an RBI, 235 overall with 2. Hillegas starts the 3rd. Strike 3. A 1-2 curve got him. 9 batters deep for Hillegas. You know you've pitched bad in a National League game when you don't even come up to bat. Hillegas, 39 for his opening 9, 2 1/3, a hit, no runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Dunston walked. Fly ball, left field. Gibson, 2 out. For Palmeiro, who's 0 for 1. And he draws the walk. They remind him to gingerly step on first. 2 out for Varsho, who singled. Palmeiro not a threat to steal. 5-0 Dodgers here in the 3rd. Ground ball to Sachs over to Heap, and that will retire the side. Cubs get a hit. No hits, I'm sorry. And that's it. They strand their 3rd after 3. 5-0 Dodgers. Well, we can't go with Nipper. Can we go with Jamie Moyer? We will go with Jeff Pico, who can go 70 pitches. That might get you 3 or 4. Pico due to start a doubleheader game on the 17th. 22 years old. Is it Pico or Pico? The mountain here is Pico, the ski area. But out in Southern California, it's Pico. He's 22, however you say it. Fastball at 87 and a standard pitcher. 3-1 with a 4.08 ERA. He made 8 starts in the first half, but he's going to go to the pen. This will be his first relief appearance of the replay. He last started against the Padres on the 8th, so 6 days rest. 8 innings and a 5-4 win, 123 pitches. Pico. Okay. I think we're the only ones that say Pico. 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Please come ski it next winter. 57 1/3 innings for Jeffrey. 64 hits, 29 runs, 26 earned, 2 homers, 15 walks, and 32 strikeouts. It'll be Heap, Gibson, and Marshall. Danny has walked, singled, and scored. Slow ground ball over the mound. Dunston over to Grace. 1 out. I had a weird dream last night. I have a lot of weird dreams. Kirk Gibson, by the way, homered in the first. He has 2 in the doubleheader. Now 19 and has driven in 61. That Vin Scully called a hockey game. Pitch to Gibby. Ground ball to 3rd. Trio over to Grace. And Gibson is out on a bang-banger. 2 out. That would have been interesting. I'm not sure hockey would have been Scully's pace. Here's Mike Marshall. Mike homered in the first, his 11th. And Scully, of course, did a good job with it, because it's Vin Scully, even in my dreams. Pitch to Marshall. Ground ball, right side, base hit. Varsho throws it back in. I know at one point, when he was still in Brooklyn, as John Shelby steps in 0 for 1, a stolen base and a walk, that Scully did some basketball. Not on a national level, but college basketball is a pretty big thing in New York. So Scully did some hoops. Shelby, ground ball past Grace for a base hit. Varsho will pick it up. And the Dodgers are just kind of licking their chops right now. Marshall moves on to third. Tracy Woodson is 1 for 2. Scored a run and stole the base. In fact, stole the base as the throw from Sundberg was in the center field. So runners on the corners, 2 out. Pico trying to get out of this. Pitch to Woodson. There's a base hit in the right field. That's going to score Marshall. Shelby should go to third because Varsho has no arm whatsoever. And there we go. So runners on the corner, still 2 out. Dodgers have 8 hits. We'll do some golf again soon. The Dodgers have scored in every inning of game 2. Here's Dempsey. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. You know, one of the most unlikely people ever to call an NBA final. Pitch to Dempsey. There's a base hit left center field. Shelby's going to score. That's all the way in the ivy. Woodson's going to round third. I'd imagine he's going to score. Palmeiro made a horrible play, throws it back in, and the Dodgers have made this 8-0. So Dempsey, the human rain delay, clears the bases on his 8th double of the year. Brings up Dave Anderson, who has walked, singled, driven in a run, and scored. My eyes hurt because Forrest is jamming those and that voodoo doll right in my face. Pitch to Anderson. There's a ground ball to Pico. Oh, the Grace, rather, over to Pico for the out. And finally, they'll do it. I don't need to show you the standings again. Nothing's changed. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors. After 3.5, it's 8-0 Dodgers. Keith Jackson did everything, but yes, he called a number of NBA finals for ABC. And when Michael Jordan won his Olympic medal in '84, it was Jackson that was on the call for that. So Jackson was Jackson did everything. He did World Series and Olympics and all that. Ryan Sandberg's 0 for 1. But the first year that CBS had the NBA, 1974, their primary announcer was Pat Summerall. Pitch to Sandberg. Ground ball to Heap. Takes it to the bag at first. 2 out. Here's Grace. Mark is 0 for 1. Summerall played college basketball at Arkansas. And so that's who got it the first year. Could just imagine John Madden with all his booms during slam dunks. You watch over here, you go over there, you wait for Jordan to clear the lane, and boom, he dunks it right there. Then he gets back on defense right over here and made the block unworthy the other way. Here's Grace, he's 0 for 1. In '85, CBS used Summerall, no Madden, in the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And so if you look on YouTube, you can see some of Summerall's basketball play-by-play. Let's just say he needed some practice. Pitch to Grace. Heap to Hilligus for the out. No, it's an error. Heap throws it away. Again, Heap is not a good first baseman. And Grace is going to reach. For Heap, it's the second error of the day. And the Dodgers have 2 errors in this one. So Grace goes to second. That went out in the bullpens. Thankfully, Keith Olbermann's mom is still on vacation. And so Grace goes to second. Here's Martinez. He's 0 for 1. Martinez, it's a ground ball to Woodson. Over to Heap for the out. And Grace will go to third. So Summerall would be 1 Hall of Fame Super Bowl announcer to call the NBA Finals. There's been another. Manny Trio is 0 for 1. Race on third, 2 out here in the fourth. 8-0 Dodgers. And there goes a shutout as Trio punches that one into right center. Grace will score, and it's now 8-1, which was about the odds of Bernie's horse winning the Preakness on Saturday. Jim Sundberg struck out his first time up. Hilligus deals. Fly ball. Left center. Shelby goes back, and that is gone. Jim Sundberg with his first home run of the year, and it's now 8-3. Oh, Harry in the booth next door, who's had a couple Budweisers on this long summer afternoon, is now dancing around, still with his shirt off. It is not a sight that you want to see, unless you're a Cubs fan. Sundberg didn't hit many. We're not got a ball game again, at least for a little bit. So here's Pico. He's going to bat. 3 for 19, a 158 hitter with an RBI. I'd like to thank Forrest for those pins in the back. I needed some acupuncture today. Hilligus, first base side of the rubber over to Heap, and that will do. Cubs get a 3 spot on the board with a 2-run homer from Jim Sundberg. After 4, Dodgers 8, Cubs 3. So Hilligus, I imagine, would hit here. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Right field, Varsho. 1 out. The other Hall of Fame football announcer that called a Super Bowl and an NBA final is Al Michaels. Steve Sachs is 0 for 2 with a walk. Fly ball, left field, Palmeiro, 2 out. So here's Danny Heap. He's had an interesting day. Hold on. Yep. Hello. Hello. Okay. All right. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Yeah, 2005-ish. Worked with Doc Rivers. I don't think Al worked a game outside of L.A. to the finals. Danny Heap is 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. 8-3 Dodgers here, 2 out in the 5th. And Heap draws the walk. Here's Kirk Gibson. He's driven in 3 in game 2. He's now driven in 61 on the season. 1 for 3. He hit that home run in the first. Pico delivers. Fly ball, right center. Martinez. This will stay in the yard, and the Dodgers finally put a 0 up on the board. Halfway home, game number 2. I feel like we're doing some KHJ. It's all LA all the time. 8-3. Well, if you joined us late, this is game 2 of a natural doubleheader. The Dodgers won the first one 8-4. Halfway home through game 2, it's 8-3 LA. 8 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. Cubs 3 runs, 3 hits, and an error. The Dodgers got to Calvin Giraldi for 5 runs in the first 3. Kirk Gibson, a 2-run blast in the first, is 19th to make it 2-0. Then Mike Marshall, they went back-to-back, his 11th to make it 3-0. In the second, that's what I get for drinking soda instead of water doing this. Kirk Gibson hit a fielder's choice to make it 4-0. Dave Anderson in the third singled to score Tracy Woodson to make it 5-0. In the fourth, Woodson singled home Marshall to make it 6. And then Rick Dempsey, a 2-run double to make it 8. And the Cubs got 3 in the bottom of the fourth. Manny Trio, an RBI single. Then Jim Sundberg, a 2-run homer to make it 8-3. And so Sean Hilligus has had a pretty easy go of it. 4 innings, 3 runs. None of them earned 3 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. We'll go the rest of those numbers in a minute. And Pico and Giraldi have been about as effective as a toddler cleaning up after itself. As in, they haven't. 7 earned runs over 5 combined. Sean Dunston 0 for 1 with a walk. Hilligus 67 pitches, 4 innings, 3 hits. The home run was Sundberg. He's walked 2 and struck out 2. Third time through the lineup, ground ball to Hilligus. He'll throw it to Heap. And that gets away, and Dunston's going to reach. So Hilligus with the air. And is Dunston going to second? No, he holds it first again. Keith Olbermann's mom is on vacation. Brings up Rafael Palmeiro, 0 for 1 with a walk. Dunston stays. Palmeiro into right center. Shelby, Uriah Heap, I like that. Shelby makes the catch. And Dunston goes back to first. You remember Columbia House, of course. I think we all owe for a couple of those 10 8-track CDs, cassettes, records we got for a penny. Gary Varsho 1 for 2. There goes Dunston, the throw down to Anderson, and Sean has his 14th steal of the year. So, in TV Guide, they'd have the ads for those, of course. Wow! Tribe Fan is the enigma. 10 for a penny, no strings attached. Yeah, no strings attached. Please accept our Carpenter's CD collection, which you must pay $40 for. Wow, Tri-Fan is paid up with Columbia House and never mess with BMG. Wow, that's the old RCA, by the way. And so the ads would be... the ads would be in TV Guide. And of course, in the late 70s, it was a drawing of an 8-track that you'd get. And so you'd see, the country acts. It'd be George Jones and Dolly Parton, and then some Perry Como and Paul Anka, whoever the hell he was. I do know now. Then you'd see Uriah Heep. One of these things is not like the other. Varsho 1 for 2. Gary swings a ground ball to Sack. Steve has it, throws to Heap, and Dunston goes to third. 2 out for Sandberg, not to be confused with Sundberg. Rhino is 0 for 2. Ground ball to Heap. Danny will field this one, takes it himself, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, and the error this time doesn't hurt. We go to the 6th here in game 2. It's 8-3 Dodgers. So Marshall, Shelby, and Woodson to face Pico here in the 6th. Mike is 2 for 3. He has singled, and he homered in the first, his 11th. He scored twice. There's a ground ball to third. Trio with a fantastic play. Straddles the line over to Grace for the out, 1 away. My mom did the Columbia House thing in the late 70s, early 80s. And she would get the LPs, or vinyl for you hipsters. John Shelby 1 for 2. He singled, stolen a base, walked, and scored. And what she would do, she'd go out and buy the cheapest cassettes that she could find, because we didn't have lots of money. And so she'd play the album once and record it on the side of a 90-minute cassette. And so when she wanted to hear it, she'd just play the tape and the album, because I'm sure we did not have the world's most expensive record players. She might have been single in that era, but she wasn't male. We didn't have the $10,000 hi-fi setup. But she did all that through Columbia House for sure. Pitch to Shelby. There's a fly ball, right field. Varsho will make the catch, and there's 2 out. To Tracy Woodson, 2 for 3, a single twice, driven in a run, scored twice, and stolen a base. He's had an entire season in this game. Slow chopper to Sandberg. To Grace, Woodson running, and he is out on a bang-banger. So Jeff Pico has put 2 bagels up on the board for the Dodgers, but after 5.5, it's still 8-3. So Grace, Martinez, and Trio. Mart has scored. He's 0 for 2. And we talked about Bernie's horrors. What else would you guys want to talk about? Ground ball to third. Woodson over to Heat for the out. Yeah, going to be really hot this week. Not streaming tomorrow. If it's 18,000 degrees in here, we won't be streaming Wednesday either. We will do the doubleheader on Thursday, because I'm terrible with Friday streams. But yeah, first heat wave of the year here in the Northeast. It's supposed to be 85, 88 degrees, and then rain. It's supposed to be a gorgeous weekend up here. Martinez is 0 for 2. We have the marathon up here, and no, it's not just the stream at an hour and 52. It's the second largest marathon in New England outside of Boston. There'll be 20,000 plus runners Sunday morning on the streets of Burlington. Pitch to Martinez, and Hilligus got him for his third. So the 0-2 fastball got him looking. 2 away for Trio, who has an RBI, run scored, and a single. In 2019 conference finals for hockey, had 3 main free agents that the Columbus Blue Jackets couldn't sign in the offseason. And I believe they're all playing in the conference finals this year. Yep. Artemi Panarin, Sergei Bobrovsky, and Matt Duchene. So in the East, we know it's Florida and the Rangers. That should be pretty good. And we'll know who the Game 7 between Edmonton and Vancouver is tonight. And the winner plays Dallas. Yes, lots of folks use Burlington to qualify for Boston, absolutely. The weird thing is, because they're so close on the calendar, you can't run both, which is too bad. But yes, this is a qualifier for Boston. You beat a certain time for your age group, of course, and you can go run down in Boston. But you can't run them both in the same year. Hilligus over to Heat for the out. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 7th, 8-3 Dodgers. It'll be Dempsey, Anderson, and Hilligus to face Pico. Jeff has thrown 3 innings. Sands pulling a Rosie Ruiz, or they're cheating. For a serious marathoner, there's just not enough time between Patriots Day, which is the middle of April, to train for Burlington, which is 6 weeks away, Memorial Day. Dempsey 1 for 2, a double and 2 RBI. And do you really think that I'm not the road racing expert? Pitch to Dempsey. Popped up left side, Trio. Waits, makes the catch, 1 out. Dave Anderson 1 for 2. Single, RBI, run scored, and a walk. I work with people who train for marathons. I stream baseball games, so I'm in no position to talk. It's turned into a nice early evening here in Chicago, 72 degrees. Wind's blowing hard out to left at 17. Trio again down the line, going to have a snap throw to Grace. Anderson not Grace with speed, and Dave is out on a bang banger. So 2 out for Hillegas. Sean is 0 for 2 with a K. What are the chances eventually that Action PC gets something similar to the Digital Diamond board game companion? 0. Absolutely 0. Indy 500, yep. One of the drivers is doing both. The Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600. Start of the Memorial Cup for junior hockey. Apparently the OHL, the Quebec, and the CHL finals all in sweeps. Ugh. I can't see Dave doing that. Hillegas is 0 for 2 with a K. And Mike Davis will pinch hit. So Sean, his evening is done. Davis is a pinch hitter, 176. 2 RBI, 223 overall, 3 triples and 16 RBI. Yeah, Tony Stewart would do it a few times. London swept Oshawa in the OHL and outscored him 32-9 into 4 games. My goodness. Closest was a 7-6 double OT loss for Oshawa. That's where Eric Lindros played, right? I'm honestly surprised, Forrest, that Mark did it for Digital Diamond. The only reason why I don't think that Dave would ever do it is because Action PC is a closed engine all the way. It's also a pretty accurate sim. Pitch to Davis. Fly ball, left center. Martinez runs in, makes the catch, and that'll do it. Stretch time, 8-3 Dodgers. Before we tell you about Alejandro Pena, who's coming in to pitch for the Dodgers, yeah, I think John has it right. Mark did it because he was a cards and dice guy who wanted a way to track his stats. You get all the seasons too. And I think that if you were to open up something like that, you're just asking for trouble. Try to make that work, and some of Dave's customers are not the most patient people on the planet. I'm just not sure it would be worth the hassle. You know, you can do it in Strat, provided you own the season, because they want you to play Strat. And you can do it in Replay, provided you own the season, because they want you to be able to play the game with your Replay cards and dice. Digital Diamond, I mean, I'm telling you, again, that's not a knock against Mr. Cook at all. Dave is fantastic. But for Mark to do that, I mean, that is, wow. But yeah, that's the reason to own the game. Pena, by the way, 4-3, 2.76 ERA, 36th appearance. He's made 8 saves. He's 29, fastball at 92, and a ground ball plus pitcher. He last pitched on the 9th, so 5 days rest. 4-3 win against the Pirates. Picked up the save, went inning on 13 pitches, 45 2/3. 44 hits, 16 runs, 14 earned. He's given up 2 homers. He's walked 9 and struck out 45. It's obviously not in for 9 outs. Might get you 6. Sundberg, we'll see about Pico. Jeff has pitched well. And Dunston. Jim, 1 for 2. He homered in the 4th. That was his first with the Cubs. He's not there much longer. He's driven in 2. Now it's 4 in the replay. Slow ground ball to Anderson. Over to Heap for the out. One away. So here's Pico. He's 0 for 1. Cubs would love to use him another inning, and they're down 5 runs anyway. 8 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors for the Dodgers. They've left on 7. 3 runs, 3 hits, an error for the Cubs, and they have left on 4. And Pico draws the walk. The other thing for us, if Dave did it in the baseball game, Sean Dunston is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a stolen base and a walk. He would be under a lot of pressure to do it for all the other games. Now, I'd love a football one that you could do that with. There is the Pro Football Helper, but Tom Milne, God rest his soul, is no longer with us, and that would just become an ultimate pain in the tushy to do. So, pitch to Dunston. There's a ground ball to Sachs. Anderson for 1, and Dunston's running, and he is safe. So it's a fielder's choice. They got the pitcher 2 out, and Dunston's going to reach. Yep. And that, however, we can do these in ways that they're not just click fests. I mean, I'm just pressing the hit and the pitch button for the most part. It'd be fun to do for hockey. Palmeiro is 0 for 2. He is walked. The problem is that hockey games are so different. Is there anything new and going on with Action PC Golf? I've been told that they're working on at least an update, if not a new release. But for hockey, you got Strat, which you got all these decisions you got to make of whether to penetrate and all that, or like APA, where it's all dice driven. I don't know how you would do it. Dave Gardner would like a word with you about coming up with some sort of hockey helper. Pitch to Palmeiro. Ground ball right side. Marshall will pick it up. So Pena probably wasn't the answer. Marshall took an extra hop with it, and Dunston goes on to third. So runners on the corners, 2 out for Varsho. Gary 1 for 3. Looking at the outcome box, and we're going to bat Gary. So let's see if the Cubs can make this a game here in the 7th. Yeah, you two should hook up on that. You know how to program. Dempsey and Pena have a word. Alejandro whines and fires. And there's a ground ball to Heap. Uriah to the bag. And that will do it. Cubs strand 2. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the 8th, 8-3. Dodgers. So Sachs, Heap, and Gibson to face Pico. Jeff, 54 pitches, 4 innings, 4 hits, and 3 earned runs. Sachs is 0 for 3 with a walk. And that's a base hit punched into center field. So let's see if Uncle Ron's decision to let Pico try to pitch the 8th pays off. Sachs a good threat to steal. Heap 1 for 2. Has singled and scored. Throw to first. Sachs is back. Ground ball to Dunston. They might get 2 here. Sandberg for 1. And would you believe that Danny Heap was too fast? I think we're right out of Ripley with that. Believe it or not. So 1 out for Gibson. Kirk homered in the first. He's had 2 in the doubleheader, and he's now driven in 61. Left center field. Back goes Martinez, running a long way, and that is caught. Oh, goodness. Martinez must have run about 35 yards, and his shoulder was brushing against the ivy when he made the catch. How about that? So Pico tips his hat to Martinez. And there's 2 out for Marshall, who was 2 for 4. He has singled and hit a solo homer. And Franklin Stubbs will pinch hit. So Stubbs pinch hitting in both games, now at 217, 2 homers and 4 RBIs, a pinch hitter. 275 homers and 17 RBI overall. Pico's pitch. Bounder to Sandberg, over to Grace. And the Dodgers go in order, or go down in the 8th. No runs, a hit. They'll leave on 2. Bottom 8, 8-3, LA. So Sandberg, Grace, and Martinez. If the Dodgers sweep, and they're 6 outs away from doing just that, that will go a long way in their hopes to bury the Reds in the NL West race. Sandberg 0 for 3. Pena's pitch. Anderson over to Heap. 1 out. Franklin Stubbs moves into right field. He is a 2 and a 1. That's a reverse Lawrence Welk, and that's bad. Here's Mark Grace. He's 0 for 3 with a run scored. Right center, Shelby. 2 out. For Dave Martinez, who's 0 for 3 with a K. You'll see the Cubs in a few weeks. I think it's before my vacation in July, because in about 3 weeks, the first night game ever at Wrigley Field between the Mets and the Cubs. Remember, the Phillies were rained out. So the Mets and the Cubs will kick off the lights here at Wrigley Field. Popped up. Popped him up. Left side, Woodson. And that'll do. We go to the 9th. No runs, no hits, and no errors. After 8, Dodgers 8, Cubs 3. So Pico, who allowed 3 runs in the 4th, has thrown 4 scoreless since. Shelby, Woodson, and Dempsey. Shelby 1 for 3. A walk, a run scored, and a stolen base. Right field, Varsho back, 1 out. For Tracy Woodson, who had himself a day, 2 for 4, a single twice, driven in a run, scored twice. Struck him out. Pico on his 75th pitch finally gets his first strikeout. So 2 out, and Pico has gone 5 2/3. And although you've had 3 days off, it is a doubleheader, and you want to save your pen. And I think Jeff Pico, although his numbers aren't going to look all that great, has done just that. He has given the Cubs nearly 6 innings of work out of the pen in the second game of a doubleheader. Dempsey 1 for 3, a double and 2 RBI. Fouls it off, and the count is 0-2. So, heat permitting, we'll be with you Wednesday at noon, presumably for hockey. And then Thursday at 11:30, it's the Royals and the Red Sox, and that is on YouTube. And Dempsey draws the walk. Don't make me pull Pico. Don't make me pull Pico. The full count fastball missed high and away. Here's Dave Anderson. Dave is 1 for 3. He has singled, driven in a run, scored, and walked. Sundberg says, you got some Budweisers if you get one more out. Right center, Martinez. Pico's going to go open up a beer. We've played 8.5. No runs, no hits, and no errors. What a job for Jeff Pico. 6 innings out of the pen to save the Cubs' pen. It's the Dodgers 8, the Cubs 3. So Trino, Sundberg, and a pinch hitter. Let's see what they do with Pena. Is he going to get a 9-out save? Manny 1 for 3. He has singled, driven in a run, and scored. Those are the little things, by the way, we're talking about Jeff Pico now, that don't necessarily score up show up in the box score. That are huge things. Yeah, good job indeed, Andrew. Huge things that can boost a team. I mean, Schiraldi just had nothing. Oh, by the way, I should say this for Forrest because my back feels better. Thanks for the acupuncture. 5 to tie, 6 to win. that those type of things that don't show up, such as a key hit, shutting down the bases with runners on and all that, but 6 innings in the second game of a doubleheader, so you're not going in the rest of your weekend with a scorched pen. That is huge. Pitch to Trio. Pena. Is he going to... Oh, that's going to be a slow bounder to Heap. He'll hand it to Pena. And Trio, that's another error for Heap. Another error for Heap. And Trio is on. Danny, who's an outfielder by nature, doesn't really know how to underhand. And that'll bring up Jim Sundberg, who homered. Base hit left field. Here come the Cubs. Wouldn't that be something? Trio is going to try for third. Would you believe that? Been a long day for everybody. To throw to third is not in time, so Trio's on to third. So that'll do it, and Jay Howell will come in to pitch. Nobody out, 8-3 Dodgers. So thankfully, Brett Saberhagen is not in the building. Jay Howell is 33, making his 23rd appearance. He is 2-1. 2.35 ERA. Fastball at 94. Ground ball plus pitcher. Howell last pitched on the 14th, a month ago. So he's had a month off. Must have gotten hurt. In a 3-0 loss to Atlanta, he went 1 inning, 14 pitches and a strikeout. 23 innings for Jay, 15 hits, 6 runs all earned, a homer. He walked 4 and struck out 21. Well, pinch hit for Pico. Tribe fan is absolutely right when he says that underhand is not as easy as they make it look. You got a runner charging down the line. That's Thurston Howell. Andrew says Jay Howell, his parents went on a 3-hour cruise and disappeared. Is Jay the long-lost son of Thurston and Lovey? I did not know that. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Well, here comes Andre Dawson. As a pinch hitter, he's got a hit. Overall, 292, 14 homers, and 52 RBI. It's Trio on third, Sundberg with no speed on first, and Dawson could wake up this crowd in a hurry with a home run. And his chances of that are 1.3%. Howell rears back and laces this one to right in front of Stubbs, and Trio's going to score. Are we seriously going to go extra innings? Sundberg moves on to third because Stubbs should not be in right. So Sundberg, who has no speed, is into third with nobody out. And the speedy Dawson on first for Sean Dunston. Sean is 0 for 3. He has stolen a base and walked. Dawson would be hard to double. I don't want to send him on the steal until Howell throws over. He goes to the plate. That's a line drive to left. 1 out. Gibson makes the catch. Sundberg, nope, not running a one-hitter. We'll take our chances with Palmeiro. And now Dawson won't steal. Raphael 1 for 3. Cubs have a run in here in the 9th. Sundberg on third, Dawson on first, the pinch hitter. Base hit right center field. Shelby picks it up. That's why you don't do Sundberg, because he would score on the single. Dawson's going to hold. And the Rally Caps are starting to work. It's 8-5. Here's Gary Varsho, who's 1 for 4. righty. They'll pinch hit Vance Law, because you can play Dawson and Wright if you need to. Law, as a pinch hitter, doesn't have one. 267, 5 homers, and 35 RBI. He is now the tying run with 1 out. The Dodgers seem to have had this one won an hour ago. Pitch to Law, ground ball to Anderson. Sacks for 1, turns and pivots to Heap, and it's over. So the Dodgers dodge one here. That's why they're the Dodgers. They sweep this doubleheader. The first one 8-4, and they win the second one by the score of 8-5. So 3 hours, and so a little after 7 here in Chicago. In the dwindling light, the Dodgers slam the door. So the Dodgers sweep. They go to 50-36. 8 runs, 10 hits, and 4 errors. Danny Heap had 3, and Hilgis had the other. And they leave on 9. The Cubs 5 runs, 7 hits, and error. They left on 7, and our MVP is going to be 1, Kirk Gibson. 1 for 5 in Game 2 with 3 RBI. So the Dodgers now have a 1.5 lead and have 50-game winners. And on this Thursday night, let's play the rest of this day in baseball, shall we? Fly the flag on Bastille Day. You gotta wait. Pittsburgh beats San Francisco 2-0. John Smiley goes in 9-5. Bacchus, speaking of Lovey Howell, takes the loss. He's 0-3, and Jim Gott picks up the save. Minnesota and Baltimore had a doubleheader because I guess you have to. Big for the Twins. They sweep. They beat the O's 1-0 in Game 1. Bert Blyleven goes to 8-8. Mike Boddicker, who's headed for the Red Sox, goes to 5-10. Lombardozzi 1 for 3 with a triple. In the nightcap, they beat the Birds 5-2. Alan Anderson coming off his All-Star game start, 11-1. Jay Tibbs is a palindrome. He's 1-11. And Greg Gagne 2 for 4, 3 RBI and 2 doubles. The Twins are going to be really, really, really hard to catch. Well, the Reds, John, had that horrible week in New York on the 4th where they blew 2 games. Braves beat the Mets 6-1, so Pittsburgh gets a game up. Rick Mailer goes to 3-12. Ron Darling falls to 8-4. And Ken Griffey 3 for 4. Philadelphia beats Houston 6-4. Kent DeColvey 4-1. Juan Augusto 0-4. Mike Schmidt hits his 9th 2 for 4 and drives in 4. Cincinnati, despite 5 stolen bases from Montreal, wins in 11 3-2. Rob Murphy goes to 4-3. Joe Hesketh, both future Red Sox pitchers, 1-3. And Tracy Jones hits his first 1 for 1. John Candelaria throws a 3-hitter. And the Yankees shut down the White Sox 7-1. He's 11-5. Jerry Royce 5-7. Dave Winfield 2 for 4. It's his 15th with the steal. Don't look, Forrest. St. Louis beats San Diego 4-3. Jose De Leon 7-6. Andy Hawkins 6-8. Vince Coleman steals 2, walks twice, and goes 1 for 2. Texas beats Milwaukee 2-1. Handyman's had a few. He earned that All-Star appearance, by the way. Huff is 8-8. Wegman 7-7. Molly 2 for 3 with a steal. Toronto beats Oakland 7-5. So Minnesota gained a 1.5 on Oakland in one day. Dwayne Ward 4-2. Gene Nelson 1-4. Jose Canseco 2 for 3. Hits his 22nd and drives in 2. Tigers beat the Angels 10-6. Jack Morris 8-9. Jim Corbett 1-2. Chet Lemon hits 2. 3 for 5. He now has 15 and drives in 4. Cleveland 7-3 over Seattle. Greg Swindell 9-9. Mark Langston 9-4 now. Rab 4 for 4 with a double. It'll be Kansas City and Boston Thursday. Saber, Hagan, and Clemens in Game 1. Lee Brandt and Smithson in Game 2. And for the moment, we have... Oh, no, I took Toronto and Oakland. Because that was the smart thing to do, Ron, for next week. So that's the first coming out of the break. Well, thanks for staying with me for the last 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll see you for some hockey, I think, on Wednesday. And remember, Thursday on YouTube, it's the Royals and the Sox for a doubleheader. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. So long.